Vaishnava Lila. So it's one of the hidden gems. If you ever get a chance, you have to go through Bangladesh. Of course, it used to be East Bengal, where many of our acharyas appear. Somehow or another, politically, it's separated now. But a hidden gem of Iskcon. So let's walk on Naru Gopal. And in Mayapur, a lot of the parikrams, they'll take like Indra Maharaj and some of the others on the parikram in Navadvip in Mayapur. And so you get some of the insider information about these acharyas. Of course, we have Chaitanya Chandra Prabhupada's books, very general information. If you want to go really deep and get some detail, so you get one of his parikrams also. Haribol. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshudam Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Disatharine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swami Nitinamine Namacharya Padaya Nithai Kripa Pradayane Gaura Katha Dhamadaya Nagra Brahmatharine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vishnudabhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I offer my respectful obeisances to all the assembled devotees. And thank you all for coming, even though the weather is not so conducive. Today is Ekadasi, and today is also the disappearance day of Devananda Pandit. So initially I was thinking of speaking about something else, but then this morning when I saw the calendar and it says the disappearance of Devananda Pandit, so I thought I would say something about Devananda Pandit today. It's interesting how Devananda Pandit's name comes in our Vaishnava calendar, because there are not too many pastimes with Mahaprabhu and Devananda Pandit. But for a very, very special reason, his name is there, and every year we celebrate his disappearance. I'm not sure if this particular pastime is talked about here, but in Mayapur and in the area where I normally have service, a lot of time is given to discuss about Devananda Pandit. When the time is very short, so I'll just try to say the essence of the pastime and how his name came about in the Vaishnava calendar. Now, there are many reasons why Mahaprabhu appeared in this world. And Vrindavan Das Thakur talks about a very unique reason why Mahaprabhu appeared in this world. Of course, Chaitanya Charitamrita talks about, him coming to relish that particular sloka, Sri Radhaya Pranay Mahima, that particular sloka, and there's a whole description about that. Vrindavan Das Thakur talks about Vaishnaver Seva Prabhu Koriya Apone Sabare Sikhai Gaura Chandra Bhagavane. One of the primary reasons why Mahaprabhu appeared is to teach to the world the importance of Vaishnava Seva. That's why the Lord appeared. So, in one particular pastime of Mahaprabhu, in the house of Srivas Thakur, where he was revealing himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he began to call each devotee and began to say something about that particular devotee that no one else knew except only for him. No one else knew about that particular incident. So he called Srivas Thakur and he told Srivas Thakur, do you remember that day when you were thrown out of Devananda Pandit's ashram? So that's the first time how Devananda Pandit's name even come up in Mahaprabhu's pastime. Before that, everyone knew Devananda Pandit as someone who was a very scholarly person, but not very respectful to the devotees. He did not really appreciate Mahaprabhu. But many years to go, he had thousands of disciples, Devananda Pandit. He is a brahmachari his whole life, very austere, very religious, very simple-hearted, not egoistic. All the qualities we talk about, good qualities, Devananda Pandit had everything. Yet, he could not get the mercy of Mahaprabhu. And therefore, the devotees stayed away from Devananda Pandit. So Mahaprabhu told Srivas Thakur, Pade Pade Bhagavat Prema Rasamay Sunila Dhruvilavati Tomar Hridaya. Says, do you remember that day when you went to the ashram of Devananda Pandit and you heard the Bhagavatam recited by Devananda Pandit? Please remember, this particular pastime took place even before Mahaprabhu appeared. But because Mahaprabhu is the super soul, he knows everything. Most of the devotees sitting there did not even know this incident. Nobody knew about this incident except for Srivas Thakur. But now, in front of everyone, Mahaprabhu is revealing something. He said, do you remember? You went to the house of Devananda Pandit, and Devananda Pandit was reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, and simply hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from Devananda Pandit, Uchchaswar kori tumi lagila kandite. You began to cry very, very loudly. Bihval hoila tumi purila bhumite. You began to cry, and you fell on the ground. You were just crying so loudly that the students of Devananda Pandit thought, here is a madman. What is he doing? Sitting in the class and crying like that? No respect for the teacher. So, while Devananda Pandit was reciting Bhagavatam, Srivas Thakur heard it. See, the speaker wasn't relishing anything. This is an interesting thing. The teacher wasn't really relishing what Srivas Thakur was relishing by hearing Devananda Pandit. He began to cry, fell on the ground, and the other students thought that that Srivas Thakur is a crazy guy. So they just, Vrindavan Das Thakur explains, they just picked him up and threw him outside. Because they thought he was a madman, crazy guy, disturbing the class. Imagine, you're all listening now. Suddenly somebody starts to cry loudly. What will you think? It's a crazy guy. Throw him out, call the cop or something. They just picked up Srivas Thakur, throw him out. Now Srivas Thakur, he felt very sad because he was relishing Srimad Bhagavatam and that was disturbed. He began to cry. He went to home and he was feeling so sad. He didn't know what to do. He just picked up Srimad Bhagavatam, embraced it, and began to cry. Now, Dekhiya tomar dukkha Sri Vaikunta hoite. When I saw you crying, you came back to your home, and I saw you crying. I was in Vaikunta, Mahaprabhu told him. But seeing how pathetically you were crying, how sad you are, Avirbhav hoilao tomar dehate. I came from Vaikunta and I entered your heart. Tobe ami tomar ei hridaye bosiya. I sat in your heart and kadailo aponar premojog diya. I gave you love of Godhead and I made you cry an ecstatic love of Godhead. Ananda hoila deha suni Bhagavat. Then you began to recite Srimad Bhagavatam and you began to cry incessantly. Sabtiti sthan hoila borisad month. When you sat, the whole place was soaked with your transcendental tears. Do you remember that? You're thrown out because everyone thought you were a crazy man, you're a madman. You came home, you're crying, and seeing how pathetically you cried, I entered your heart and I made you cry. I gave you love of God and you cried, and I made you cry in ecstatic love of God. Now, Srivas Thakur, all this time, for years and years, he was thinking that I was so sad. How did suddenly I feel this ecstatic love of God at my home? And today Mahaprabhu is revealing that it was me who entered your heart and made you cry. So Srivas Thakur naturally fell at the dust of the Lord's lotus feet and began to cry, just offering his gratitude to Mahaprabhu. Now this is how Devananda Pandit's name came. How did it come? That the student of Devananda Pandit thought Srivas Thakur was a madman, that Srivas Thakur was thrown out of the class. Now please understand that because of this activity of Devananda Pandit, because Devananda Pandit did not stop his student from throwing out Devananda Pandit from his class, students were the offenders, but so was Devananda Pandit. Mahaprabhu was extremely angry with Devananda Pandit all this time. So one day, when Mahaprabhu was walking with Srivas Thakur and others, he saw Devananda Pandit from the distance. Oh, Mahaprabhu was so angry. He began to criticize Devananda Pandit, saying that you do not have any idea about Srimad Bhagavatam. You are so-called Pandit, but you actually have no knowledge about Bhagavatam. How could you let your student throw out Srivas Thakur from your ashram? Do you know even Mother Ganga is anxiously waiting to get darshan of Srivas Thakur. And such devotee had come to your home, and you let your students just throw out Srivas Thakur like that. He just felt so shy, he just ran into his home. But because he did not accept Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Lord, Devananda Pandit thought Mahaprabhu is another crazy guy. He's another crazy man, dancing, chanting. What is he saying? It just ran. Later on, when Mahaprabhu took sannyas, and after taking sannyas after 5 years, when Mahaprabhu came back to Nadia. Now before that, there was one very exalted devotee of Mahaprabhu. His name was Bakreshwar Pandit. You must have heard his name, Bakreshwar Pandit. Now, Bakreshwar Pandit was someone who could dance. Some of the devotees are good dancers. They can chant and dance for many hours. Bakreshwar Pandit could dance non-stop for 72 hours. Not eating, not sleeping, just dancing and dancing. And Mahaprabhu loved Bakreshwar Pandit like anything. So, one day, when Bakreshwar Pandit came to Nadia, and he was singing and dancing, naturally, thousands and thousands of the inhabitants of Nadia, Navadvip, they came to see the dance of Bakreshwar Pandit. After Mahaprabhu took sannyas, the heart of Devananda Pandit began to change. Thinking that I was just thinking that Mahaprabhu means Nimai Pandit was just a very arrogant Pandit initially. Then he just went mad. But now, the fact that he took sannyas, he had become renounced of everything, he must be something. He must be somebody. And I must have offended him because I criticized him in so many ways. I have done a mistake, I have done an offense. So when Bakreshwar Pandit came and began to chant and dance in Navadvip, Devananda Pandit wanted to get the mercy of a devotee of Mahaprabhu in order to get the mercy of Mahaprabhu. So Devananda Pandit came and he saw thousands of people were surrounding Bakreshwar Pandit, and Bakreshwar Pandit was just dancing and dancing in the kirtan. He couldn't dance properly because people came too close to him. Because everyone wanted to touch him. Someone wanted to touch his lotus feet. So he couldn't really dance wholeheartedly. So what did Devananda Pandit do? Devananda Pandit took a stick and he began to push the people. So Bakreshwar Pandit could dance wholeheartedly. He made space, he pushed people, made enough space so that Bakreshwar Pandit could dance. When Bakreshwar Pandit would fall on the ground unconscious, then Devananda Pandit would pick him up, put him on his lap, take out all the dust, fan him, like serve him in so many ways. And that's how he got the mercy of Bakreshwar Pandit. So after the kirtan was over, Devananda Pandit actually served Bakreshwar Pandit for quite some time. When Mahaprabhu came, and there were so many devotees surrounding Mahaprabhu, Devananda Pandit also came. For the first time, with the attitude, with the mood of surrendering himself to the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. Till now, Mahaprabhu was very, very angry at Devananda Pandit because he offended Srivas Thakur. তার সঙ্গে থাকি তাহার শুনিয়া প্রকাশ তখনে জন্মিল প্রভু চৈতন্য বিশ্বাস. Because he served Bakreshwar Pandit, he did some Vaishnava seva, he could understand the glories of Mahaprabhu and he began to develop some faith in Mahaprabhu because of the mercy of Bakreshwar Pandit. So he came Dandavat Devananda Pandit Korea. This is the first time Devananda Pandit actually came and paid full Dandavat to Mahaprabhu. And he was very, very scared. Devananda Pandit was very scared because previously Mahaprabhu chastised him many times because of his Vaishnava parad. But Mahaprabhu saw his mood totally different. Now Devananda Pandit is very humble and trying to surrender his life to Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu became very, very pleased. And he called him and he said, because you served Bhakrasar Pandit, because you served my devotee, therefore I shower my blessings upon you. And Devananda Pandit began to describe how fallen he is and that how he is depending on Mahaprabhu's mercy. Ei mago tomate ho gunurak. My Lord, I do not need anything, but please bless me so that I can become very attached to you. When Devananda Pandit began to glorify Mahaprabhu, you can read this from Chaitanya Bhagavat. There's a whole description about this. Mahaprabhu showered his blessings on Devananda Pandit, but Mahaprabhu said, he said that, look, you served Bhakrasar Pandit, it's very nice. It has opened the door for devotional service. You came to me, that's also very nice. I give you my blessings. But because you have offended Srivas Thakur, you have to go to Srivas Thakur and ask for forgiveness from Srivas Thakur. So immediately, Devananda Pandit actually went to Srivas Thakur and begged forgiveness. And Srivas Thakur, of course, forgave him. Then Then Devananda Pandit came back to Mahaprabhu and asked, Ek nivedan Prabhu, tomar charane, ki upay Prabhu, kolaho apane. My dear Lord, I surrender myself to your lotus feet. Please explain to me, what should I do and how should I read Srimad Bhagavatam? Ki bekha nimu padaimu ba kemane? How should I read and how should I teach Srimad Bhagavatam? Iha more aapka Prabhu karaho apane. Please tell me, please order me, how am I supposed to read Srimad Bhagavatam? Mahaprabhu was very, very pleased because the whole Navadvip, Nadia knew Devananda Pandit was the scholar of Bhagavatam. But now Devananda Pandit is asking that he does not even know how to even read Bhagavatam or to speak of teaching Bhagavatam. So Mahaprabhu was very pleased by his humility. And Mahaprabhu began to explain. I thought this was very interesting because this is not just for Devananda Pandit, but this is for all of us who give Bhagavatam class and who read Bhagavatam. Mahaprabhu says, Adhimatha avasane tumi bhagavate bhakti jog matra vyakhanyo sarvamate. In the beginning, in the middle, and at the end, please do not explain anything else other than pure devotional service. Sakal Shastre Matra Krishna Bhakti Hai. All scriptures only talk about Krishna. Vedas Sarve Ahameva Vidya. Same Bhagavad Gita. But besides Sri Bhagavad Krishna Rasamaya, especially Srimad Bhagavatam, where it's full of nectar describing Krishna's pastime. Therefore, you should not explain anything else other than Krishna. in Srimad Bhagavatam. While you read, while you teach, everything should be only Krishna. So because of Devananda Pandit, even though he was a brahmachari, even though he was very austere, even though he was very, very religious person, but because he offended Srivas Thakur, he could not understand Krishna. He could not understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Even though his whole life he was teaching Bhagavatam, but he could not accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What to speak of Mahaprabhu? Because of his offenses. But the moment he served Praktiswar Pandit, the moment he served Srivas Thakur, immediately his whole life changed. So because of this pastime, his name is celebrated in the Vaishnava calendar. And in the beginning, as we described, one of the reasons Mahaprabhu comes to this world is to teach Vaishnava Seva. Now, just a few days back, for us, one of Srila Prabhupada's senior disciple, Bengali disciple, brahmachari disciple in Mayapur, just 10 days back, His Grace Jarabharat Prabhu, he was a brahmachari, he left this world. I was here, I was surprised, actually shocked, because he wasn't that unwell. He was actually okay. And the way he left his body was, he wasn't feeling well for 2 days. But everything was almost normal. In the night, he was taking prasadam and everything. In the night, the devotee who used to take care of him came to give him prasadam. And he said, actually, I'm not feeling so good, so I will not take prasadam today in the night. And in the morning, when the devotee is going to wake him up, he did not open the door. So the devotees had to break open the door in the senior brahmachari ashram and found him asleep. His hand was like this in his chest. And you see his face, very peaceful. And he left his body just like that. And his nature, I wanted to take this opportunity because I'm not there, I wasn't there in Mayapur to say something about him. But in Mayapur, he used to be called as Kaka. In Bengali, Kaka means uncle, spiritual uncle of everyone. He was like the father figure of all the brahmacharis in Mayapur. He actually joined a similar time with Bhaktichur Maharaj. And him and Bhaktichur Maharaj actually took initiation together in Mayapur. And Bhaktichur Maharaj and Jarabharat Prabhu used to serve together in Mayapur. In those days, not many Bengali devotees joined Iskcon during Prabhupada's time. So he was definitely one very, very rare devotee who joined Iskcon along with Bhaktichur Maharaj, and they used to do a lot of lineal service together. And one quality of Jarabharat Prabhu, see, I'm seeing Jarabharat Prabhu since the time I joined. I joined in 1983. So, the day I joined, I'm seeing Jarabharat Prabhu. And he was very, very caring to everyone. And one particular thing about him, about Jarabharat Prabhu, that he used to love to feed the devotees. Anyone who knows him personally, they will all vouch that he would personally cook, and his particular liking was cheese sabji, paneer sabji. And he used to personally cook actually. And he used to make the paneer sabji a little bit unique way. Each paneer, I think if you had one paneer, that's enough for you. He used to make the paneer sabji, paneer would be this big. Each piece. Initially, because His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, It was his, of course, it was Prabhupada's desire. He was trying to implement is to develop a good relationship with the Gaudiya monks. So most of our festivals, we would invite the Gaudiya monk devotees to Mayapur to take part in the festival, take prasadam, and they would also invite Iskcon devotees to take prasadam, take part in their festival. So Jadavrat Prabhu, being a Prabhu disciple, he would be the one leading Mayapur, Iskcon Mayapur, to the different Gaudiya monks. And very, very exemplary devotees, up from Mangalarti every day, chanting his rounds, and no matter who gave the Bhagavatam class, every day you sit right next to Prabhupada in the temple and listen to the class. Every single day. Very, very caring. Any brahmacharis who felt a little sick, needed some help, whatever it is, he would personally take care of the devotee. And somebody needed some money, and he would talk to the management. I was just talking to Ghanashyam Prabhu the other day, and he said that every time he goes to Mayapur, Jadavat Prabhu would tell the devotee, it's not like Iskcon Atlanta, it's a little bit different. You just cannot enter any prasadam hall and just take prasadam. Here is open for everyone. But Mayapur, thousands of devotees come, so we can't afford like that. There's a system. So Jadavat Prabhu would go and to the devotee who would be at the gate. Hey, he's an old Mayapur devotee. Make sure that he just comes and takes prasad whenever he wants. And if you need some money, I'll give you money, but don't stop him. Like that. He was very, very caring. Personally to me, he was very, very caring. He knew my whole family. My father, my mother, my wife, child, he knew everybody. And I was very often invited to the senior brahmachari ashram to honor prasadam. This is just a wake-up call for each and every one of us. I remember last year, there was one boy, Russian kid, 18 years old, in Mayapur. And these are not made up story, this is real. 10 days back, Jadavat Prabhu did leave his body. It's a fact. So this boy, his name is Bhagavad, 18 years old. So in the evening, he was in the Gurukul, and he was playing basketball. And the boys used to get together in the evening and play basketball. And so this particular day, he told everyone that make sure you come on time tomorrow to play this game. So all the boys naturally, yes, we'll see you tomorrow. So, everyone went. He went to his home, took a shower, took prasadam, went to bed, never woke up. 18 years old. To the boys, the boys who were supposed to come and play the next day, they came in the morning, took his dead body, went to the bank of the Ganga, did the last rites. Therefore Prabhupada says, Prakritir Nauk Narup Dekhale Apani. He is talking to Krishna, Prabhupada. Krishna Tava Punna Have Bhai. My dear brother Krishna. Prabhupada is addressing Krishna as his brother. He said, you have really showed me the real nature of this world, how ruthless it is. There's one particular lecture is going viral now, Prabhupada's lecture, where he talked about how he got in touch with the Gaudiya monks. And after getting in touch with the Gaudiya monks, he began to lose his business. And Prabhupada begins to laugh. He says, and as soon as I came in contact with you, I lost my business. And then he begins to cry. Prabhupada begins to cry. You can see, you can hear so clearly Prabhupada crying in that lecture. He's thanking all the devotees, saying that actually all of you are representative of my Guru, because all of you are helping me to fulfill the desire of my Guru. So there's two things. we don't know how much time we have left. And therefore, when Prabhupada was challenged, why are you giving sannyas to these young boys? In India, they give to the old people. So Prabhupada shot back and said, what is the definition of old? And Prabhupada said, what is the guarantee? Old means he is going to die. There is no guarantee that, that I will die before you or you will die before me. There is no guarantee. So what is old? In one sense, everybody is old. And that was Prabhupada's teaching. So we don't know how much time we have. And therefore, the best thing to do is to take full advantage of whatever time is left and try to do something for Srila Prabhupada, for our spiritual masters. Take some responsibility, take some headache. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that please don't think that, devotional service is all about, yes, it's all about happiness, but it's not that, everything is very easy. It's not. Therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Tomar sevai dukkha hoy jato seoto param sukh. That even though while performing devotional service, sometimes you may go through a lot of difficulties, a lot of inconvenience, but because we are doing it for Krishna, seoto param sukh. Ultimately, it's all happiness. So, from the teachings of Devananda Pandit, whose disappearance is that we stay away from criticizing Vaishnavas, and as shown by example by Jarabharat Prabhu, always serving devotees. Bhakti Charu Maharaj is there, you can hear his lecture in Mayapur TV. Bhakti Charu Maharaj is talking about Jarabharat Prabhu, and he talked about Jarabharat Prabhu. He said, Jarabharat Prabhu is an example. He said, when I met Prabhupada, Bhakti Charu Maharaj said, Prabhupada told me one thing. He said, just this lifetime, just give it to Krishna. That's all. Just one lifetime. Just see what you will get. I said, Jarabharat Prabhu followed that instruction of Prabhupada. Just one lifetime. Give it to Krishna and see the result. And then, Bhakti Charu Maharaj was talking about Jarabharat Prabhu actually got the result. How peacefully he left. His whole life he spent in Mayapur doing service, and he was actually doing a very important service for last, since the master plan, the TOBP, he was the treasurer actually. He was the treasurer of the TOBP, dealing with crores and crores, millions and millions of dollars. So in one hand he was dealing with millions and millions of dollars. Other hand, he was very, very humble and doing menial service, trying to cook for devotees, trying to feed the devotees. And because he gave so much love and care to all the devotees of Mayapur, Krishna took him. Mahaprabhu took him so in such a wonderful way. And that's the goal of our life. We don't know how much time we have, whatever time is there. Just try to serve Krishna, serve his devotees, and in that way, go back home. Back to Godhead. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki, Jarabharat Prabhu ki, Samaveta Gaur Bhaktavinda ki, Tai Gaur Pramanande. Any question? Sorry?
What did he ask?
He asked me to say something about ecology. Is there any questions? Yes, ma'am.
But I understood that this fasting happened before Mahaprabhu
Yes.
appeared. So, did Devananda Pandit knew that she was Thakur as a devotee?
Yes.
He knew?
Yes.
Oh.
The thing was like this. There were certain devotees. Srivas Thakur, Advaitacharya, Haridas Thakur. So these people actually appeared before Mahaprabhu. Appeared before Mahaprabhu. And Srivas Thakur took devotional service very seriously from the age of 16 years. Before that, he was According to Srivas Thakur's language, he said, I was very naughty. And you'll see he describes his life. Very interesting. He said, I was very naughty. I did not want to associate with any devotees. I didn't want to hear Bhagavatam. I just wanted to just do mischievous thing. I used to like just to fight with people, like that. But at one point, after the age of 16 years old, he had a dream from Mahaprabhu. At that time, he took devotional service very seriously. Then he started going to Devananda Pandit to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So yes, Devananda Pandit knew that Srivas Thakur was a devotee, but he thought, even though he's reading Bhagavatam, but because of not associating with the devotee, he couldn't understand the glories of devotees. He thought these are all mad people. Any other questions? Yes.
Can I ask one?
Yes, there's no one else is asking. So,
I have understood with my little poor knowledge that we see Krishna in everyone's heart. But especially it happens, we tend to compare sometimes devotees and the one who have not accepted Krishna consciousness. And at our level, especially my level, at a preliminary level, we are very easy to differentiate and not come to a stage where we can understand, okay, this particular person can also be a Vaishnava, especially when we mix so much with outside world and karmis. So what would you suggest at our level, how to?
We have to be extremely careful about this particular attitude. It is not just, it's just for all of us, including myself. Sometimes we make that mistake to make so much difference. And we tend to put someone down because he doesn't have a sikha, or because he's not putting on tilak, or for some reason he's not putting on neck beads, or because he's not putting on dhoti. We have to be very, very careful. And there are so many pastimes of Mahaprabhu regarding this particular topic. When one devotee asked Mahaprabhu, who's a devotee? Because Mahaprabhu talked about Vaishnava Bharat. And there's so many examples, including his own mother. So who is a Vaishnava? That was the question to Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu simply responded, anyone who chants Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, even once, is a Vaishnava. So, everyone here chanted. There is a saying in English, no, charity begins at home. That means, you please look who's sitting in your right, who's sitting in your left, who's sitting in the front, who's sitting in the back. They're all Vaishnavas. It's not up to me to judge, because externally, by seeing someone externally, if we begin to judge what type of Vaishnava he is, we make it dangerous. It makes, it's such a dangerous thing to do, and it will just spoil everything in devotional life. Because we don't know in their heart what kind of simplicity he or she may have. How does he or she chant their rounds when they come in front of Krishna? How do they pray? We don't know their devotion. Who are we to judge? So the safest thing is to respect everyone. And if you find someone's behavior is having an effect negatively in your devotional life, just stay far. Take one step back. You don't need to say anything. Someone else is there to take care of that. I'm not his teacher. I'm not his temple president. I'm not his guru, Siksha or Diksha. Now, if there is someone whom you feel that by talking to him, he or may change positively, then you talk to him. But not in the mood of criticizing, obviously. It's done in the mood of helping somebody. So if it is done in that attitude, then you will save. But the moment, hey, we make some judgmental comments, we're just destroying our devotional life. Therefore, aparat. The word aparat, it means aparhita. Means you're actually being thrown out of devotional service. That is aparat. And Vaishnava aparat is compared to mad elephant. You know, you have a nice garden, then you let one crazy elephant come in there and destroy everything. And therefore, Devananda Pandit, look at it, whole life brahmachari, thousands of students, whole life is reading Bhagavatam, very austere, very religious, takes bath in the Ganga, everything. But Mahaprabhu rejected him. Mahaprabhu was so upset with him, so much so to the point that the devotees had to grab Mahaprabhu because he wanted to go to the house of Devananda Pandit and destroy him. To that point. This is just to show how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is so displeased with someone who criticizes Vaishnavas. To the point of telling that his mother, Sachimata, is not qualified to get pure love of Godhead because she made an offense. And there are so many examples. But to the question, to be safe, that we respect everyone as Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, and if by someone's activities our devotional life is being affected, we stay away. If we can help, fine. Otherwise, we don't need to say anything. There is, Daksha. Remember the story of Daksha? He was criticizing Lord Shiva, a Vaishnava and Yathasambha. Now, someone like Daksha, he was thinking that the fact that I'm criticizing Lord Shiva, there is reason for it. So to criticize someone, you will find 10 reasons. No, Prabhu, I had to do it because he is really like that. So there is ample reasons to criticize someone. Daksha found in Lord Shiva. So we just stay away. Life, like we talked about, Jadavrat Prabhu, we talked about this devotee Bhagavat. It's very short. No need to waste time. No need to waste our human form of life so cheaply like that. Human form of life is not so cheap. So why waste it?
Thank you so much.
Yes, Mother.
So suppose there are 3 devotees and one devotee is offending second devotee and the third devotee is looking at the first devotee who is offending the second devotee. So what is the position of the third devotee who may think that this first devotee is offending the second devotee and the third devotee may be angry at the first devotee about that and may not talk to the first devotee or may try to stay away from
Yeah, it depends on you're talking about third devotee.
Yeah, who
What is
dislikes
this?
the first one because he's offending the second one.
There's quite a few things you could do if you're that third devotee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? There's quite a few things you could do. One thing, just go away from there. Other thing you could do, if you're in a position to stop that, stop it. If you're in a position that if you say something, it's only going to be a bigger battle, don't say anything. Just go from there. And don't take sides at that stage. Because then you decide, you begin to say who's right, who's wrong, then you fall into that trap. And therefore, when it comes to this kind of situations, let the authorities decide. They have the Shiksha Guru, the Diksha Guru, the temple president, the temple council, the management, let them deal with it. We, as normal devotees, we don't get into all that. Just be safe. And if you read Mahaprabhu's pastime, you'll see, like we said today, one of the reasons that Mahaprabhu came to this world is to teach to the devotees how important it is to surrender our life and soul in serving devotees. So that's the goal, that's why Mahaprabhu came. Now, by coming into Iskcon, if our life becomes, a daily service is to do Vaishnava Pradhan, it's exactly the opposite of why Mahaprabhu came. Just stay away. We in? Should we want to go? We in? Sri Prabhupada ki, Sri Radha Madan Mohan ki, Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki, Sri Gaurnitai ki, Samarvata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki, Sri Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Pramanande.
Naru Gopal Prabhu ki.
Shweta Swarup Prabhu said there is no Sunday fee sponsor today. So if anyone would like to sponsor, please come and see Shweta Swarup Prabhu and please come and perform the Arati. Thank you. I forget your initiated name. Parakashta Devidasi. She recently just got initiated by Holiness Radha Govinda Maharaj.
Is that in the office? Is working?
And also, if you don't mind, today, if we can dedicate our prayers to their lordships. We recently had one of the members in the congregation, been supported for almost 25-30 years. She just left her body. Many of you know Pratap Singh. His wife, they were on a little vacation to New Zealand, and there was a volcanic eruption, and they were hit by the volcano, and she left her body. Pratapji is still non-responsive, but they're hoping that he'll come back. So this is a big loss for us because they've been connected to the temple for a very long time, and also very staunch supporters. So while we do the Arati, if we can just pray, because they have 3 little children being taken care of by their grandparents. It would be nice if at least one of the parents still live to help raise the 3 children. So we'll pray to their lordships as we do the Arati, as we sing the Kirtan. But at least he can come back and help raise the 3 children. Mataji, do you have any special blessings or prayers you'd like from the devotees?
Just the prayers.
What would you
Just
like?
the blessings and the prayers.
So you all ready to give your blessings and your prayers? So you can raise. You have to raise 4 arms. Ready? Together? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki. So I just wanted to give you some updates. We have our big annual Kirtan festival coming up. And the important aspect of the main focus for this year's Kirtan festival is celebrating the 50th anniversary of sannyas for His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. So, I was discussing with Naru Gopal Prabhu. He mentioned to me that there is a group of devotees who are doing research, and they found out that he's the only living sannyasi in Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition and Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya that is still living, and the senior most in the whole world, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya in the whole world, celebrating his 50th anniversary of sannyas. Not many live 50 years of sannyas. So it's a very unique milestone that Maharaj has finally reached, and we're going to be celebrating that here in Atlanta. This celebration is happening, one in the United States of America, and there's another one going to be celebrated in India, in Calcutta. Calcutta, they have many, but they're having another mega one. They're expecting over 100,000 followers from all over West Bengal and India to come and join. Because Maharaj, as you know, he has hundreds of thousands of disciples that he has inspired in their Krishna consciousness. So he will be arriving here on the 1st. There's a lot of planning going on. We're going to put up a big stage outside, put nice walls, so we can all, because this temple room is not going to be able to fit all the devotees. His disciples from all over the United States are coming. So far, registration alone, update from today, there has been over 500 families who have registered to come and join for this celebration. In Atlanta, coming from all the way from Dubai. There are some who are coming from Dubai for the celebrations, and there are some who are coming as far as coming from London as well, because they're not having a celebration for Maharaj in Europe or America other than here in Atlanta. So I think it's going to be a very unique event, and everyone is invited and everyone is welcome to participate. There is Kirtanians who are coming from Hawaii, from Mayapur, from Vrindavan. Naru Gopal Prabhu will be here. Many of you do not know that Naru Gopal Prabhu, he is running 100 temples remotely sitting here in Atlanta. He's in charge of all the preaching activities in Bangladesh. And there is hundreds of thousands of devotees. And regularly he is doing Gaura-katha, talking about the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where thousands of people gather to be inspired hearing these beautiful pastimes narrated by him. So he's here, he will also be here for this 50th anniversary celebration of Maharaja's Sannyas. So there's devotees coming from Toronto, Kirtaniyas and devotees. So there's going to be a lot of devotees. And the Atlanta community, we have agreed to try and see how we can host them. So far we have Janti Bhai there. He opened up his hotel for devotees coming from different parts. Amrit Bhai. But we still need more devotees to open up your homes. Who would, if you are eager to open up your homes for other devotees to come and live, just for these 3 days, please come and see Shvatashwara Prabhu, or you can come and see me. So far we have 40 devotees who have opened up their homes, and we need at least another 50 devotees. Even if you can just host one person. There will be devotees coming all over. We're trying to make sure that they don't have any other burden other than to enjoy this beautiful ecstatic kirtan and association of all the wonderful devotees and His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. Please spread the word, and Rangesh Prabhu is working on the flyers of all the different kirtaniyas. Mahaguna Mataji has taken some role as well. So many devotees, there's about 8-10 devotees who are organizing behind the scenes to make sure that this beautiful event will be a pleasurable event for you, and it will be a great success. So, if you have any questions, you can come and see me. You can see Shvatashwara Prabhu, Santosh Prabhu, and Mahaguna Mataji is not here today. You can also contact me. Amit Tejas Prabhu.
Which one of Calcutta they are celebrating?
Netaji Indoor Stadium.
Wow.
So they packed up the whole stadium, and so far I was told that all the seats are almost sold. I mean, it's not sold, but you have to book your seats. Many of you may not know, Jayapataka Maharaj has done something very pioneering in this Hare Krishna movement. What he has done is he has created the Bhakti Vriksha model. This Bhaktivinoda Thakur's tradition where every house, little groups, little clusters of families get together and be inspired in Krishna consciousness, how to keep them inspired. He is the one that systematically grew that system. And Iskcon practices it all over the world. And that is why you will see that in the remote villages of India, Bangladesh, this Bhakti Vriksha is growing like anything. So, his reach of giving Krishna Mahaprabhu's mercy, it is only our good fortune to come and take his association and say thank you for your wonderful service and celebrate his 50th anniversary. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Santosh Chaitanya Prabhu just came and told me that he has some opportunities for you. So I don't know what it is. Let's pay attention. He'll let us know.
As Veda Prabhu mentioned, that it's going to be very unique and big festival. So there will be a lot of volunteering opportunities if you would like to participate in that. We posted a message on the temple WhatsApp group. I'll post it again, and that message has a link. So if you click on that link, and then you will see all the opportunities, all the seva which we are needing for this help, for this festival. So, and the details is given on the page, where you can select the time, what's your availability, and what is your preference of the seva. So if you like to help in the cooking, cutting the vegetables, or serving the prasadam, all the details are given, and what are the times when that seva is needed. So please visit that form and select your options and submit it. If you have any difficulties doing things online, then just let me know and give me your name and the time when you are available, so that we can count you in for that seva. So there are many opportunities, and we need actually really help. So please come forward and help us. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj ki jai. This please come and have the last darshan and prashadam will be served. Christmas. That's a very good question. Sorry, we forgot to make an announcement for Christmas. So every year we have a Christmas celebration here in the temple room. Many of you don't celebrate Christmas at home because it's not a tradition. But so many devotees here who have celebrated Christmas all their lives, we have figured out a way to make Christmas celebration into a nice Krishna celebration. So please come on Christmas Day. We'll have nice kirtan prashadam and sharing of gifts. So the program will start on Christmas Day in the evening at 5:30 p.m. Kirtan Prashadam Association. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.